Hello, my dear friends. Today, we begin the story of a man who changed the way the world works, moves, and dreams. A man who believed that progress should serve everyone, not just the rich and powerful. His name was Henry Ford. Henry Ford did not invent the automobile, but he transformed it into something greater, a symbol of freedom, opportunity, and modern life. This is not just a story about machines or factories. It is a story about patience, failure, belief, and the courage to keep going when others give up. Now, let us travel back in time to a small farm, a curious boy, and the beginning of a dream that would one day move the world. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, in Michigan, United States. He grew up on a farm, surrounded by fields, animals, and hard work. Life on the farm was not easy. Days started early and ended late. Everything depended on physical effort and patience. Henry helped with farming tasks like milking cows, planting crops, and repairing tools. But even as a child, he felt something different inside. He did not love farming. While others focused on the land, Henry focused on machines. He was curious about how things worked. He took apart clocks, watches, and tools, not to break them, but to understand them. People often said, "Henry, you break everything." But Henry smiled and replied, "I'm not breaking it, I'm learning." That mindset, learning through curiosity, shaped his entire life. When Henry was around 12 years old, he saw something that changed him forever. It was a steam-powered engine. At that time, most work was done by animals or human hands. This machine moved on its own. Henry watched it carefully. He listened to its sound. He studied its movement. In that moment, a powerful idea entered his mind. Machines could replace hard labor. Machines could make life easier. That single moment planted a seed. From that day on, Henry Ford dreamed not of fields and farms, but of engines, motion, and progress. At the age of 16, Henry made a bold decision. He left the farm. This was not common at the time. Most boys stayed and continued their family's work. But Henry felt a strong inner voice telling him to go. He moved to Detroit and began working as an apprentice machinist. The work was difficult. The pay was small. But Henry was happy. He was surrounded by machines. He learned how engines worked. He learned discipline, precision, and patience. At night, after long work days, Henry continued learning on his own. He studied books. He experimented. He imagined new possibilities. He was not chasing money. He was chasing understanding. Like many dreamers, Henry Ford failed many times. He tried building small engines. Some worked. Some exploded. Some simply didn't function. People laughed at him. They said, "Cars will never replace horses. People don't need machines like this." But Henry believed something deeply. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. He did not fear failure. He learned from it. Every mistake taught him something new. Henry married Clara Bryant, a kind and supportive woman. She believed in Henry even when others doubted him. Clara once said, "I believed in Henry's dreams even when they were still invisible." Her support gave Henry strength during difficult years. While working for the Edison Illuminating Company, Henry met Thomas Edison. Edison encouraged him to continue his work with engines. That encouragement meant everything. Sometimes, all a dream needs is one person to believe in it. Henry Ford did not want to build luxury cars for the wealthy. He wanted to build affordable cars for ordinary people, farmers, workers, families. He believed transportation should bring freedom to everyone. This idea was revolutionary. At the time, Cars were expensive toys for the rich. Henry dreamed of a world where people could travel freely, work efficiently, and connect easily. But dreams alone are not enough. Action was needed, and challenges were coming. By the late 1890s, Henry Ford was no longer just dreaming. He was building. In 1896, after years of experiments, Henry completed his first automobile. He called it the quadricycle. It was simple, noisy, and far from perfect. But it moved. For Henry, that was enough. He drove it through the streets of Detroit, surprising people who had never seen a car before. Some laughed. Some stared in silence. But Henry felt something powerful inside him. This is the future. Success did not come quickly. Henry Ford started several automobile companies and failed. Investors wanted fast profit. Henry wanted perfection and long-term vision. These differences caused conflict. One company failed, then another. Each failure hurt, emotionally and financially. But Henry did not quit. He learned important lessons. Never give up control of your vision. Never rush quality. Never build for profit alone. Many people would have stopped. Henry did not. He believed that failure was not the opposite of success. It was part of the journey. In 1903, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company. This time, things were different. Henry focused on simplicity, durability, and affordability. He didn't want to impress the rich. He wanted to serve the many. His goal was clear. I will build a car for the great multitude. This idea shocked the industry. Most manufacturers believed cars should be expensive and exclusive. Henry believed the opposite. In 1908, Ford introduced the Model T. It was not fancy. It was not luxurious. But it was strong, reliable, and affordable. The Model T could handle rough roads. It could be repaired easily, and most importantly, ordinary workers could buy it. The response was overwhelming. People loved it. Sales grew rapidly. For the first time, families could travel farther, faster, and more freely than ever before. The automobile was no longer a toy for the rich. It was a tool for everyday life. Henry Ford knew that to make cars affordable, production had to change. So he introduced one of the most important ideas in modern history, the moving assembly line. Instead of workers walking around a car, the car moved while workers stayed in one place. Each worker performed one simple task. This change reduced production time dramatically. What once took 12 hours now took less than 2 hours. Costs dropped, efficiency increased, and the world changed. Factories everywhere adopted this method. Not only car factories, but food, clothing, electronics, and more. Henry Ford had not just built a car. He had reinvented how things are made. Henry Ford believed something radical for his time. Workers should earn enough to buy the products they make. In 1914, he introduced the $5 a day wage, double the average pay. People were shocked. Other business owners criticized him. But Henry believed fair wages created loyalty, productivity, and dignity. Workers came from all over the country to work at Ford. Turnover dropped, morale improved, and productivity soared. Henry Ford proved that treating workers well was not only moral, it was smart. As Ford Motor Company grew, Henry Ford became one of the most famous men in the world. Factories expanded, cars filled the roads, the modern age accelerated. But with success came responsibility and criticism. Henry's ideas changed society deeply. Cities expanded. Travel increased. Life moved faster. Some praised him. Others questioned his methods and opinions. But no one could deny his impact. The world would never be the same. By the 1920s, Henry Ford was one of the most powerful and influential men in the world. Millions of Model T cars were on the roads. Ford factories operated at a scale never seen before. Henry Ford had achieved what many believed was impossible. But success brings not only praise, it also brings challenges. Henry was a man of strong beliefs. He trusted his instincts deeply. Sometimes this made him visionary. Other times, it made him stubborn. As the world changed, competition increased. Other companies introduced new designs, colors, and features. Henry resisted change for too long. He believed the Model T was perfect as it was. He famously said customers could have any color they wanted, as long as it was black. This decision eventually cost Ford leadership in the market. Henry Ford was a complex human being. He brought opportunity to millions, but he also made mistakes in business and in personal beliefs. Some of his opinions caused harm and criticism. History does not ignore this, but wisdom teaches us something important. Great achievements do not come from perfect people. They come from human beings with strengths and flaws. Understanding this does not excuse mistakes, but it reminds us to learn from them. Henry Ford's life shows us that success requires humility, and humility requires continuous learning. Henry's son, Edsel Ford, played an important role in the company. Edsel was more open to design, creativity, and change. Together, they guided Ford Motor Company through difficult years, including the Great Depression. As Henry aged, his energy slowed, but his influence remained. He spent his later years reflecting, writing, and observing the world he helped build. He once said, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. This belief remained true until the end of his life. Henry Ford passed away in 1947, but his ideas did not die with him. His vision reshaped transportation, manufacturing, labor rights, modern industry. He showed the world that progress should serve people, not control them. He proved that innovation is not about complexity, it is about usefulness. He taught us that dreams become reality through persistence, patience, and purpose. Henry Ford's story offers timeless lessons. Failure is a teacher, not an enemy. Vision matters more than approval. Simplicity can change the world. Success must serve humanity. Learning never ends. He reminds us that one person, with courage and clarity, can reshape society. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." This simple sentence carries deep truth. Belief shapes action. Action shapes results. Results shape history. Henry Ford believed in a future others could not yet see. And because of that belief, the world began to move. My dear friends, the story of Henry Ford is not just about cars or factories. It is about believing in your ideas, even when they seem impossible. You may not build an automobile company, but you can build a better life, a stronger mindset, and a meaningful future. Keep learning, keep improving, and never stop believing that your dreams can become real.